So we're going to be wrapping up today with a couple of MITRE talks, then get to our candy for those of you in the room. So our final attack update is going to be coming to you from Jared Ondrachek, our software development lead. Jared?
Yeah, probably need this. And some training, apparently, on the different buttons. Let's just test this out for a second. And all right. Hello, everyone. I'm Jared Ondrachek, as Adam mentioned, the software development lead for the MITRE attack software team. I do want to point out that there is not a typo on my Twitter handle there. I'm Jondrachek on pretty much everything from GitHub to the MITRE attack Slack. For whatever reason, I dropped the E when I created Twitter. And if you could handle one extra tweet a year, you could follow me. So, all right. So I'm a DevOps engineer, and just a little bit about me. I've been at MITRE for about 12 years now, and I've had the pleasure of being able to work on with a lot of great people, on a lot of great teams. I have some background in Android forensics, where I had created some tools to assist with the automated detection of potentially unwanted applications. And it was during that time that I fell in love with automating everything. I fell in love with Python. I fell in love with creating code that was not just code that could work on my computer, but my colleague's computer. And then as we transitioned that project to other people, both internal and external to that team, specifically packaging up tools for other people to use. Anyway, so I've been with the attack team for about 6 months now, and I get to manage both what you see here on these bullet points, from things from the website to attack Navigator, the Workbench. We're going to be going over some updates on these things here in my discussion today. So let's go ahead and dive in. Now, for the website, actually, for a few of these things, you've already been briefed by previous members of the team. So one of the specific updates is that the ICS, the Industrial Control Systems attack matrix, currently sits on a MediaWiki instance out there, and it is no longer going to be a separate tooling, but will be incorporated into attack.mitre.org. A little hard to see there, but it's just the styling of the website today. So really looking forward to being able to, for those of you in that space, to be able to pivot around the website and just be in one space instead of having to bounce around to multiple areas. After that, you can also see once again from Lex's talk yesterday. We're adding the detection, specific pages to the website so that you'd be able to, same idea as ICS, it's just in one space, be able to go and, for any given object, whether it's a technique, a group, whatever, be able to see, see more information on the website that way. And that's coming in April for both of the ICS and the thing I just said. Yes, the detections, that's what it was. All right, as opposed to campaigns here, which is coming soon. Still just trying to breeze through this. As Matt Malone already mentioned, there's going to be a lot of community engagement as to specifically how we collect the data on our team, but then also on the website, we don't have final screenshots yet of what it will look like, but that's in the October release V12 of attack. So really looking forward to that one. Let's see, moving on to the next slide here. So this one is my absolute favorite, and I think it might be some of your favorites as well. Search. Yeah, just wait for it. Like, I have an animation. No, wait, maybe I do, maybe I don't. You'll find out later. So the website, it's what we know and love to be able to access all the information about attack. However, while we can search, there's we'll just go with there's issues with that, and it's a high priority this year. I don't have a date on that, but we are prioritizing it on my team so that it will be able to, we'll just go with be more usable soon this year. All right. Moving on from the website, some other updates that are more recent. So the Attack Navigator. A few people had mentioned Attack Navigator, and we've seen screenshots and from the layer files there. Just one quick snapshot. When you're working with the Attack Navigator, there's a bunch of tools. One of which you can export as JSON to work with, or export as Excel. For those of you, continuing to do the work that you need in Excel. We also have SVG export, and if you can see, the font sizes are just kind of wonky when you use that. And if you haven't used SVG export in the last few months, because you remember this, in January, thanks to Lily Wong, she created a pull request on GitHub to at least minimally make it look a little better, right? So while this is not the end state, we still want to work on Attack Navigator this year to be able to export in various formats, not just SVG, but also with the express plan to not require third-party browser extensions to make good screenshots of the attack matrix. So that's a goal of ours this year, but this SVG export was already released in January of this year. Another addition from since in the last several months is the ability to add custom links. And just to walk through what that means, if you were to open up the Navigator and click on a technique such as audio capture, you can click on this button right here to add your own custom links. And just to zoom in a little bit, it's fairly simple. All right, you just give it it's just a URL. What do you want to call it? Where does it go? That's it. And you can add several of those. And then when you export those Navigator layers to share with your colleagues, however you want to do that, or yourself for later, of course, then you can come back and see that there is there's a blue underline under audio capture if you can't see that. But if you right click on it, then it shows up at the bottom of the context menu. So a little update that has been requested multiple times, and then you can just kind of see, oh, this is extra context that someone added to this layer. So you could click, that's just the URL, that's all it is. So you can make use of that. So that's Navigator. Actually, before I dive into the Workbench stuff, I was talking to several of you just between yesterday and today about some other anticipated updates for Navigator. So what I really want to say about that is, if you have ideas for Navigator, and this is going to be a theme for any of the things that I mentioned here today, if you're able to go on GitHub and find the repository, we have issue trackers for all of our projects, and if you want to go straight to pull requests, that would be awesome. But if you even just want to have a discussion, right, feel free to open issues as feature requests or bugs so that we can have a conversation about how to improve or fix things that are actually incorrect or broken. Moving on to the Workbench. So I wanted to give a shout out to Ivan Ninachuk from his talk yesterday, as he's the first person I've met in real life who's actually using Workbench. I know several people do, but that was a really great plug. So for those of you not familiar with what Attack Workbench is, it's a web application that is open source. It's on GitHub, and you can stand up your own instance of it, and then you can import collections of Attack in sticks format, so you don't have to understand sticks format. It will do it for you. And then it's actually the tool that we are using, starting to use internally ourselves. It's been around for about a year publicly, I think now. But it's how we edit the content of Attack. I'm not really going to go through this whole roadmap here right now. It's just we have constant improvements that we need for ourselves and that other people will also be able to make use of. One of the things mentioned yesterday is that it has a REST API that is just, in my opinion, fairly easier to work with than manually working with sticks. We'll go with that. And then speaking of sticks, you can't talk about sticks without talking about TAXII, of course, right? Standardization joke? No, okay. So TAXII, so we, some of you may know, not all of you know, we host a publicly available TAXII 2.0 server at ctitaxi.mitre.org. No need to pull that up in a browser because it is not interesting in the browser. However, it is already available. It's public. The documentation for it is available on GitHub. And I'm not going to say it's buried, but it is in that file right there. So it is available. It's 6.2.0 only. And the reason I kind of wanted to bring that up is because on the heel of the version 11 release in April, coming in May, we plan on standing up a public 2.1 server. For all intents and purposes, maybe that doesn't mean anything to you specifically. However, it does have a couple of things that I feel are worth mentioning. One is the specific integration with Workbench, if you have a Workbench instance set up. If not, that's fine. Don't have to worry about that. It does have a REST API compliant, a REST API that is Open API compliant with dynamic documentation. So while going to the website today might not get you a whole lot of information, in the future there would be dynamic documentation that is available for you to make use of, and it'll be supporting sticks 2.0 and 2.1 for all the attack content. Zooming through here, so we've got another thing that once again, some of you know, some of you don't. We have a Python library that you can pip install. Kind of maybe hard to read on that, but pip install MITRE attack Python. And just three top level things that it does for you is it works with sticks once again, so you don't have to. And it's sort of a grab bag of functionality. It's just a tool that we use ourselves that we feel might be useful for others. So it converts sticks to Excel or collections for use with the Workbench. And a few other things. Really, the point I want to make on this here, though, is for the future of MITRE attack Python, I want to work with the community to find out what it is that you want in there. One of the things that we feel might be useful is to add convenience methods to connect to the public TAXII server, things of that nature. There's also another GitHub repository we're going to try to merge in with. But yeah, that's another resource that you have available to you. And really, lastly, to wrap this up, there's a lot of stuff that's open source with the MITRE attack team that I and my team get to manage, and it's in various places today. And we want to ultimately go for a centralized landing page, so that would be available, at attack.mitre.org for you to kind of get your updates about that right there. In conclusion, I just said all these things. And I'm Jarrett. So.
Thank you. And most importantly, on behalf of the entire community, whether it's the PIP modules, the TAXII, Navigator, thank you and your team for abstracting us from sticks. Truly,
Of course.
every day, the rest of our
My
team,
pleasure.
really benefits from that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.